Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Charles Owen from Paladin Data Corporation. We're here today talking about we're here to do the virtual user meeting for True Value. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for attending today. Got a few more people logging in, so I'm going to give it another minute. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand and just letting me know that you can hear me okay and that you can see my screen, that would be great. Brian, thank you. All right, so that is great. It's looking like, yeah, I've got the first slide up here. So, again, thank you all for attending. This is a meeting that we normally do, twice a year at the True Value Show. We normally provide a couple hours or so for our customers and prospects to come in and meet with us and talk with us and learn more about the goings-ons at Paladin and what's new in the system. So that's exactly what we're going to do here today. We're going to talk about, not only where Paladin's been and where we're going, but also some of the new updates that have come out recently. And this would be both for customers and prospects, anybody else, and also anybody attending from True Value. Welcome. Thank you for coming and attending today. So since you can hear me and you can see me okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Just before I get going here, if you're in your store and you've got interruptions and such where customers need your attention, customers come first. Please help them out. This will be recorded. This webinar is being recorded right now, and it will be available usually within the next 24 hours at on our portal website in Paladin. I'll share that information with you at the end. Looks like we've got a number of new people have just come online. Appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get started. So let's go on. If you have any questions, you can ask those questions anytime, and I'll more than likely before the end of the presentation I'll address those for sure. But more than likely I'll wait till the end of the presentation. So here we go. Let's look at what we're going to learn today. So we're going to look at the 2020 release, and 2020 and 2021 as well. We've got a new help request portal. If you haven't seen it yet, stay tuned. You really need to take a look at this. Also, we're going to be going over some of our latest integrations with firearms and accounting systems. And then we'll look at some of the mobile devices that we've added and see if they can, be of assistance to you. And then look at some of the new point of sale features, and then specifically to True Value, some of the features that you may want to take a look at. This is some really cool stuff. And then we have coming soon as well, we'll talk about. So that's what we're going to cover today. So let's move on to the help request portal. I'll go through this kind of quickly. You may have already seen this. If you're a Paladin customer and you go to the help on the very, very top of the Paladin system on the help menu, there is a new category new drop-down called support. And in that, you have the capability to do chat support. So if you haven't used that, it's something that you can use, and it's at your disposal. Definitely for simpler questions that don't necessarily, you definitely don't want to put a store down situation on chat support and chat with somebody and tell them your store's down, because they'll ask you to call into a different number more than likely. But you can submit a help request, and you can view your active help requests right there. So this is the best way to do it. We're kind of changing the way that we take help requests now. Sure, you can still call, but we need to go into your system and actually from your system submit a help request. What it does is it just pushes all the information that we need to know about your store, about your operating system, the version you're on at Paladin. It provides all that information so that we can look for similarities and identify problems faster and better. And we can also channel you to the right person when you put a help request in. We can make sure that the person with the knowledge in that area gets that particular case. So on the chat side, you can enter your question or your inquiry, get real-time help. It's available, help's available from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. We are in Central Oregon. So that's all you need to know there. If you haven't tried it and you have a simple question you want to ask, go ahead and try it. It's kind of nice. It's very instant support. To submit a help request, when you click that button, submit a help request, the first thing you're going to see before you see this screen is a box that comes up and says, is this a store down situation? Are you unable to process credit cards? Can you not take sales at the checkout? Are you having trouble submitting your order, running your statements? These are all considered store down situations, and we will be available and are available 24/7 for those instances. In this case, you'll say no if it's not a store down, and you'll go into the category, and you can pick categories. Is this a order that you're placing? Are you requesting training? Does it have to do with the Paladin software, managed services, third-party software integrations? So you kind of pick the category, and then based on that, there will be a subject that you can drill down into. And then lastly, you just go over to the description, which is has the little red asterisk on it, meaning that that is a required field. So you can put in information, just put in your issue, what it is, and then under that, you'll put in your contact information. You must put in a phone and an email. And then it will pop up on the technician screens, and the one that will be best able to help you will give you a call. You will also receive an email confirmation that you submitted a help request, and it shows you your help request number right there, which is our case number. It goes directly into our CRM system. And then you'll see a little message here that says, we've received your help request, we'll follow up with a call. So again, getting back to why this is important, we're trying to streamline our support, obviously making it better for you so we're more responsive. Number two, we are also interested in seeing if there's a trend going on. And if there's a trend going on, we can act faster and look for similarities and issues and that sort of thing. And then we'll be able to optimize the call routing based on, as I mentioned before, who would be best to solve your case. All right, moving on to integrations. So if you haven't seen this product, and if you do sell firearms, this is just the most awesome thing, because this will enable you to integrate with an electronic, cloud-based A&D or acquisition and disposition product for selling and tracking the sale of firearms. It prompts for the 4473 form. It allows you to do that electronically or hard copy and scan it in, either way. But this is really your safety net. If you're doing everything manually today, handwriting it in a bound book, you're following the rules. But man, it just makes it so much easier if you put this into FastBound. And how does it get into FastBound? Well, it goes right directly through Paladin. Paladin is 100% integrated. If you're interested more about this, if you go to the Paladin portal at portal.paladinpos.com and you search for firearms, there's a whole user guide on how it works, and it shows screenshots and everything else. So we have to collect all the information. We pass that over to FastBound. They keep an electronic copy of your bound book. And they also have a legal team of people to help advise you and help you if you have any audits or need any additional information regarding certifications. Moving on, we've added a QuickBooks Online integration. So we've had QuickBooks integration to the enterprise product through a third-party company called Syntegration. It does push the same information online integration does. That's Syntegration pushes, which is every night it puts the information into, directly makes the journal entries into QuickBooks. But in addition to that, we also have added, and this is available too with the other general ledger type integrations. When you close a purchase order in Paladin, automatically creates a payable event on the QuickBooks side. It's called a bill. and it does create that in QuickBooks, and that is near real time. So when you close the purchase order in Paladin, it shoots it over there, and now you've got that same purchase order. Hopefully you'll be able to match that up with an invoice coming in and pay that through your accounting system. So that is the kind of the next level of integration that we wrote with the financial systems. And QuickBooks Online integration is one of those new additions. So if you're using Enterprise and you want to move to online integration, feel free. It's a great solution. It's cloud-based, so it's anywhere, anytime. You can get access to it, whether you're at home or at the store or anywhere in between. Some of the mobile supports, devices that we support and apps are the following. The first one is we have a touchscreen dynamic Quest 3 tablet that is available. It comes without a keyboard except for an electronic keyboard. It does come with an EMV chip slot as well as a swiper. It has a barcode scanner in it as well. And what this device is intended for, this is something that is part of the extension of your store, right? But it remains in the store. It has to be connected to your network via Wi-Fi. So you have to make sure that your Wi-Fi is on the same connection that your Paladin Ethernet connection is into the router, because it has to communicate with the database. So very important to understand that. A lot of people think, oh, I can get this, on the Paladin loaded on this tablet and go anywhere I want and do anything I want in the store. Different product. That's a different product altogether. This enables you to extend the reach of checkout as well as a back office terminal. It's a full-on license of Paladin loaded onto, so there is a monthly fee for this license on this tablet. As an alternative, you can always get a inexpensive laptop, plug a scanner into that, and the same thing. You can put full-on license on that and basically accomplish the same goal. The only nice thing about this is it's different than the laptop, is this will take credit cards, right? It does do EMV level 3 certification. It's compatible with the same credit card devices that we use today in your stores. So it also connects, just like all your other devices, to any printer or any other peripherals in your store, as long as they're available as a shared device on the Wi-Fi. All right, so now that we understand what the Touch Dynamics Quest tablet is good for, let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Tab. So this is strictly only for checkout, where the last one was a full-on license. You can do inventory, customer access, everything else. The Samsung is intended just to sell product, but you can sell it from anywhere, anytime. Anywhere in the world, as long as you have a mobile access connectivity or Wi-Fi. Which means it's pretty cool, right? You can just, pack up the back of your truck, drive it out to a market or to a flea market or a swap meet or something like that, and sell from your store remotely, right? So this is going to do things like, it's going to be able to call up a customer list. You're going to be able to call up your inventory and be able to add those customers and items through searching. You can also scan items with this as well, if you happen to have them, or maybe you're doing a parking lot sale and you've got all your tables out there full of parking lot items, and you can just walk up with this and scan the barcodes and check people out right there. It also, you can put payments on account, so it does store the account payment here back in addition to back in the store. And you can take not only cash and check, but also credit cards. Now, in the credit card piece, this is a card reader that only does swipe. So will it do dip? Not currently. It just does swipe. Is that okay? Yeah, it should work just fine. Even if you use EMV in your store, you can use the swipe on this device. We just have to set up something a little bit different on your setup, but you can manage both the swipe and EMV. It's a great solution. Like I said, it can be done. It can be used anywhere, anytime, and its main purpose is just checkout. You can't do customer management or inventory control anything else on this because it has just one function. But it is a great solution. I would recommend this strongly. I've seen it work. It's a cloud app, so like I said, it can work from anywhere. But again, it's not a full license, just does checkout. I want to make that clear. So this is what the screen might look at if you're in an invoice using the mobile to checkout application on the Samsung device. And again, you can recall, not only can you recall customers and inventory items, but you can recall stored quotes. You can also store quotes. That's pretty cool, right? Let's say somebody called the store and ordered a bunch of stuff, you put it in the system, saved it as a quote, then you drove out to their house with the truck, dropped it off, and you were able to complete the transaction right there because you just recalled the quote, boom, charge them, you're done. It also can respect pricing plans. Does not do loyalty programs. So any of the rewards programs it will not handle currently, but it will respect pricing plans and trade discounts. Important to know. All right, moving on to another device we've added recently is the Lane 7000 and Lane 8000. 8000 is just a little bit bigger model. This device, just like any credit card device, when you first put it out there, it has its challenges, but we've worked out all the kinks. This seems to be a very stable platform now. It does accept all payment types as well as touchless. So the Google Pay, Apple Wallet, or whatever it's called, it does support all those. So you can just wave the device or wave your card over it and be able to take it. And it does do signature capture as well, and not to mention, of course, EMV. As an alternative to that device, we have a smaller device, a little bit more nimble device. It is called the Verifone P400. It does everything the big one does, except it's no signature capture or touchscreen. I mean, you cannot, sign on this particular device. Other than that, it's a great device. It does the swipe, the dip. It does just about everything else that the big one does, and it has a built-in pin pad as well. So this one's a little bit less expensive, a little bit more streamlined too. It's smaller, so smaller footprint, meaning if you need more real estate on the counter, this can help with that. But you would have to get a signature capture device. All right, moving on. Some of the new features. So this is my favorite section here. So we've added a ton, just gobs of new features into the system over the last several months. These are some of them. Some of these you should have. All of them you should have right now for the most part. This is the one we're looking at now is the 1,000 board foot. Now, the 1,000 board foot we've offered as a purchase, right? So you can purchase by board foot. That's important, right? Because you're buying from mills and doing things like that. However, we've had customers ask us to be able to extend that to the sales side if we could do the board foot calculation on the sales side. So we offer that now. You just have to check a different checkbox, another checkbox. And then at checkout, as you can see in the bottom portion of this, we show the 1,000 board foot price, and then we also show the each price and quantity. So we do show the board foot price as well. We have added a square foot calculator. We've always had, if you do Control K, we do the standard calculator, which is the footage calculator. So it does a tallying. Well, this is a square footage calculator. Same concept, but now this is for sheets rather than sticks. It does show the breakout of the sheets down below, underneath in the note field, as you can see on the very bottom of this graph or image. Moving on. So numbered quotes, something else that we've added recently. So when you generate a quote, before it's an invoice, it doesn't have an invoice number because it is not an invoice. It is literally just a stored quote. There are some people who have requested that we actually put a number on these quotes so that you can have a number. So when somebody comes back to the stores, they say, hey, I have quote 305 instead of, my name's Bill Smith and I came in and created a quote for this and that. You can actually give them a quote number, or they can give you a quote number, and you can very quickly get to that quote by recalling that particular quote. So it doesn't only put it on the invoice, it puts it on the screen for the cashier, puts it on the receipt, and it also places it as a memo on the stored transaction. So it automatically puts the quote numbers on there. You can turn this on and set up under Invoice Store, and it's under the Enable Quote Numbers. So if you want that on, just turn it on. It'll start with quote number 1 and just move on from there. Applying freight costs. So why is that important? Well, oftentimes it is. We've been able to do this for quite some time with things like special orders, with manual purchase orders. EDI, electronic data interchange, was a little bit more challenging. So what we've done is we've added the capability to go back in after you run EDI and put freight costs in and apply those freight costs to your cost of goods sold. Those can be applied either across the cost of the item or the weight of the items. You pick. It is best practice to apply it as soon after you run invoicing, EDI invoicing, as possible. Customized email invoice messages. So we've had the ability forever to be able to generate an invoice and send that to a customer either automatically or manually, where you can request an email. We have now customized it so you can put a message in that email. You just go to the File, Setup, Forms tab, Email message box, and you can put in whatever message you want. You can customize that. So if you're sending email invoices right now it's just an attachment. I think the subject is the same as the file name, which is invoice and whatever the invoice number is. But now you can customize that. So I'd encourage you to do that. Moving to create a new purchase order from a back-ordered items. So isn't that clever? So if you are generating purchase orders, sending purchase orders, and receiving purchase orders, but not receiving everything on the purchase order that you ordered, which is quite common today, as you know. The fill rates have been not optimum as of late, since the supply chain and businesses have shut down and that sort of thing, or at least temporarily closed. So what we put in here was the ability to recreate a brand new purchase order of all items that were back ordered. So rather than just deleting those or closing out that purchase order, what you can do is now create another purchase order, and it can show, and it will actually create a new purchase order. Look at this. We're going to show this on the next screen. But to get to it, you just go into Receive POs, Find PO, and then at the bottom there's a button there. You can see the green arrow pointing to Revised PO. That's pointing directly to the button that you need to press, and that button will do the following. So here we go on the next screen. So it's going to break up that. It's going to actually take out all of those items that were not in the were not delivered in that order, and create a new purchase order. So that's, again, it's just hit that Revised PO button. It will do this, and then you can go ahead and recall this and resend it. Now, in the case of True Value, they do support back orders. So if you're doing ship laters and you're handling that, then you won't want to resend a new purchase order, because then you'll order it yet again. You'll double the amount or triple the amount. So for the True Value, you're working with ship laters, Just do not create an additional PO and send it in, because your order will be fulfilled eventually. So you just keep it open until those items come in, and then it will close it appropriately. Moving on to adding precision. So we have up to 4 decimal places on quantity and 6 on cost. We've been able to do this for quite some time at the invoicing side, but this is on the purchasing side or within the purchase order itself. Moving on, so we've got scheduled reports for weekday only. So this is just a feature that we put in here, just a small little feature, but you know, if you want to do a preset report and run it daily, that's great, pick daily. But if you want to run it on every day except for the weekends, you can do that as well, just by going into scheduled reports and click on that button, daily-exclude weekends. Excel version of the credit card deposit report. Well, why would you want this? Well, it's great for reconciliation. So if you go into the what I need to know transaction report credit card deposit, what you'll see here is an option to export this to Excel. So when you do that, you get a list in Excel. Now you can slice it and dice it any way you want, sort it, order it, total it, and you can compare that information with the information on your credit card portal. Customer-friendly transaction report. So this is not just the transaction report, but it's the transaction to Excel report. So if you notice recently, in the last year or so, we gave you the capability to push transaction reports to an Excel spreadsheet as opposed just to a PDF. So we've extended that to be able to show it. You can actually print it and show that information to a customer, meaning it's taking out things like margin, profit, and other things. So you have an option to go customer friendly or accounting department. Moving on, you can also exclude special orders from rewards. Now we have an area in under the special orders, so it's under the company tab and then special orders. You can go ahead and put in a specific ID, class ID, to be assigned to every special order put in the system. And then you can take those particular classes and remove them from having any type of a rewards reimbursement, right? So they won't get points when they do special orders. And I think this is a good thing. A lot of times when you're ordering special orders, you're talking big bucks, right? So this will prevent them from getting a ton of money back on their credits on invoices if you have a rewards program enabled. All right, so on the new devices that we talked about, the Lane 7000 and 8000 devices, when you go to store credit cards, there is an option now. It will automatically be set to manual entry. So if you're storing a credit card transaction, you're going to have to put it in on the PIN pad on the actual 7000, the device itself. But if you would rather swipe a card, you can uncheck that manual entry and it'll prompt you to swipe the card. And that way it'll transfer the number and information directly into Paladin through, again, tokenization. So you're not actually storing the credit card number, you're storing a token. So a very safe way to do it. New item fee details report. So you all are familiar with this. This was core charges, right? So we have the request that there's several different core charges out there and they need to be applied to different items based on the class of an item. So we're now able to produce a custom required fee where you can custom name it. In this case, we changed it from core charge to required fee. That can be changed anywhere, and you do that under File Setup, the Invoice Store tab, and you go to Use Alternate Core Charge Identifier. With that in there, now you can generate reports where you go into what I need to know, required fee details. Now that required fee, because that was our custom name for the core charge, that's what comes up. If you had it as a paint fee or anything else, it would show there. And then once you go into there, you run the report, it's going to break it up down by class. So very effective way to manage multiple different fees for different items, and then you can report on those and break it down by class. Any items that don't have a class, they'll just be identified on the top image here, where it says up here, no class defined. It'll just put it all into one bucket. Moving on, new admin access level replaces admin passwords. So this is a relief, I think, to a lot of people. Every 90 days when you went into an admin back office in Paladin, any one of the different tabs that requires admin access, it would ask you for a long 8-character or so password, which is different than your login password to Paladin. Well, we have done away with that. We put that in initially because it was required for PCI compliancy. No longer is this required. I mean, we still have a login and password when you log into Paladin, but if we're just giving one button for admin access to get to access everything in the back office. So under permissions, under employee, and then permissions at the very bottom, the access levels, you can see here that admin access is at the top. If you had somebody previously with access to the admin features, it will no longer prompt them for a password. So that's good news. Now, one exception of that is when you do voids, it is going to ask you for your password. That password is going to be your password, getting the same password you use getting into Paladin. All right. So no longer will you be having to call us and ask us to change your password. All right, moving on. So itemized taxes on receipts. So we've enabled the taxes because of all the craziness with taxes and all the different requirements that the different cities and municipalities, counties, and states have. We've extended that to 6 decimal places. There was, on very rare occasions, sometimes based on the rounding up, you could have a penny off, and I guess that's a big thing. So we went ahead and extended this out 6 places. It will correct that. Now this is, I might add, this is only on those customers who have activated breaking down of individual tax amounts. If you do not break it down and it's just one thing, one line says tax, don't even worry about this. There's nothing that's going to show up different. But if you're a lumberyard in California, for example, they require that there be a 1% tax on lumber. It may be different today, but that's what it was a few years ago. And they require that it's broken out on its separate amount below. Well, that's what we do here. In that case, then it will show the up to 6 decimal places. All right, so what are some of the true value new features? Guys, this is really this is the meat and potatoes of today's webinar here, the virtual user group meeting. We're going to look at some of the new features that we've added specifically to True Value, and I think it is they're just super helpful to our customers. So we're going to go through number 1, the EDI file support. So we have fine line updates. We've added long descriptions, images, advanced window, drop ships, RDC balances, vendor locations, and vendor direct ship terms. So each of these are updated through the Paladin integration to True Value through EDI, Electronic Data Interchange. Some are daily, some are weekly, and that's what it shows here. So we've enhanced the True Value EDI file support tremendously. Now you're going to see it here coming up when we show images and some of the RDC balances. You know, what's your stock on hand in your distribution centers. We're going to be able to show you that. So let's move in and show you. So daily price and inventory uploads to True Value. Paladin added support for daily end of day price and inventory uploads to True Value for both non-True Value and True Value products. If you want to enable the feature, create a help request. Just go to help, support, submit a request, and we will activate this for you. What's next? True Value automated pricing plans. So now we are able to receive through electronic data interchange and automatically create pricing plans and sales in the system. So promotions, we support promotions, and those promotions can come down directly into Paladin from True Value, right? And just when you run the True Value EDI and select the sales you want to participate in, Paladin will automatically create those pricing plans. If that wasn't cool, this one, where we're able to do the RDC lookup or look for availability, we can do a quick check to the warehouse and on multiple occasions in Paladin. So when you're adding items into the invoice, when you're in inventory looking up, when you're ordering items and purchasing, these are all different ways that we can look at what the stock on hand is. Now, when you produce a purchase order, now this is really, really a key feature, especially today with all of the fill rates being so low. When you generate or recall a purchase order, you can click on supplier stock check. When you do that, it will break the PO up into 3 sections. The first section will be supplier out of stock. So that's going to show you all the items they don't have in their distribution center that you buy from. So you can look for alternative means of ordering, maybe alternatives and that sort of thing if you want to do that, or call your rep and see what they can do on availability. Second thing is partial stock available is the second categorization that we have there. So anything that, yes, they have these, but they don't have the quantity that you want. And then the last one is what is available in stock. So this is all something that's just done automatically when you click on to recall a purchase order. And what a powerful option that is, especially today when we need to oftentimes look for alternative ways to get product in. To extend that out, I mentioned to you, you can not only check it when you generate your purchase orders, but you can check it upon demand. And that can be in the PO module, the inventory module, and the invoice and quote module. There's a button at the bottom of the screen. For single store users, it will say F7 stock check. For multi-store, it'll say F7 transfer. Either one of those will show you these, will give you a stock check and tell you exactly what's on hand in that particular, in the RDC. Right? In this case, we're in inventory, same thing. Press on stock check, boom, comes up and tells you. And then lastly would be the invoicing. Now this is something else that we've added recently, the images. So this will happen and will download slowly. Every time you get an invoice, we'll bring the images down with it. And so you'll see them start to multiply. And when you do an advanced lookup and you search for a product, there will be a little magnifying glass to the far left that shows you that there's an image on that part, and you can click on the magnifying glass to see that image. So this, again, is on the advanced lookup screen. And when you search for a particular item, you want to look at it, you just click on that magnifying glass, and there you go. So we've talked about some of the things we put in the system, all those things that you should currently have access to, and currently with the version of software that you use. Now we're going to look at what's coming soon. So one feature that we've added based on a request from several stores is they wanted to be able to look at their orders and generate a pick list. So what is an order, first of all? So an order is a quote that's been converted to an order. What's the difference? Well, a quote is something that sits in the system and can be altered, can be changed, can be deleted, removed, sold, invoiced. But an order, what it does is it basically locks in a particular quote and says, okay, this now is an order, meaning this order is solidified. I do have a number of quantity that I need for these particular items, and I need to sell them. Well, okay, how's that different than a quote? Well, the difference is you can pick and choose on these orders of what you might want to sell. In other words, you can do a buy down quote. right? So you can call it up and say, hey, they wanted 20 of these. It looks like I've already sold them 10. They have 10 more to go. And you can continually bring that order up until it's entirely 100% fulfilled, or you've already exhausted everything that they wanted to purchase, and now you can remove it. Well, if you wanted to generate a pick list of, well, what's left? Well, it's going to show you what's left in an Excel spreadsheet. It will break down for each of the customers what items and quantities are left to fulfill on those standing orders. Very useful for fulfillment. All right. So guys, that was it for the webinar. That has we've done this, managed to do this in about 40 minutes. So that's what I was thinking, 40, 45 minutes usually is what it takes me, depending on how many questions we have. So far, I don't have any questions. So we can find more information on, just search for 2020 in our portal, and it will come up, or you can go to portal.paladinpos.com/new features, new-features/summer-2020. We're currently putting more stuff up there as well. Look for 2021 releases as well, and we can see what we can find. So I don't see any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. Our next webinar is on Avalara, which is a taxation system that we're integrated with. So if you've got unique local tax municipalities that have some strange oddities and such, Avalara can handle everything related to tax. So you'll stay tuned for that webinar on March 9th. And then, again, as always, you can go to paladinpointsale.com and you can look at our various websites. We have Retail Science. We've got the Help Portal, as well as the Paladin store if you need to buy anything. Since I don't see any questions, I'm going to bid you all a good day and take off here. God bless you for hanging out today. Hope this was helpful. And have a great True Value market. I know that you're working in this virtual world right now. It's kind of weird, but there are also some advantages to it. But I do look forward to our next time that we can meet. Hopefully in the fall show, we'll actually be able to be in person. Again, thank you guys so much for attending. Take care and have a great day.